Do, do, do. Josh Review! Yeah! Hello everyone, welcome to another album review with me, Joshua Smith, and today I'm going to be reviewing the album Black Sabbath. It is their self-titled album, so of course it's by Black Sabbath. It was released February 13th of 1970. Some chart information about it. It peaked number 8 on the UK album charts, and peaked number 23 on the US Billboard charts. It's released on the label Vertigo, and the singles are Evil Woman with Wicked World as a B-side. So without further ado, let's get this started. As a legendary band, Black Sabbath's first foray into the mainstream music world, initially the critics claimed this to be nothing but rubbish. An editor for Rolling Stone, Lester Bangs, described the band as like Cream, but worse, and the influence is clearly there. So basically, when this album first dropped, people saw it as poop, but several years down the road, and even to this day, it's hailed as a rock masterpiece, and it is actually considered the first true heavy metal album. The members of Black Sabbath had the sense to set themselves apart from bands like Cream, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and even Led Zeppelin, but how did they do it? They took that signature style and mixture of psychedelic rock and blues and gave it a message unlike any other, and at the time it was a shock to many. Those who were down with the whole psychedelic movement at the time were used to messages of peace and love over freak-out instrumentals, but Black Sabbath took that and made it evil, sadistic, and even quite frightening. This album is almost entirely riff-based, which would be why people compare it to the likes of Cream and such. I had more of a Led Zeppelin image in my mind while listening to this, especially from albums like Led Zeppelin 1, and even more so from Led Zeppelin 2, but I wanted to take this album for what it was, and what it was heavy rock greatness, and this album really exemplified what heavy metal is, and what it would eventually become. If anything, it's because of the lyrical content, often displaying a liking for the occult, Satanism, paganism, socio-political propaganda, and drug use. It even draws inspiration from the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, H.P. Lovecraft, and Dennis Wheatley. Tracks like NIB, which stands for Nativity in Black, even as Ozzy Osbourne take on the image of and likeness of Satan himself, convincing a follower that his love is real and that he promises to give the follower anything their heart desires. Now I have you with me, under my power. Our love grows stronger now with every hour. Look into my eyes, you will see who I am. My name is Lucifer, please take my hand. Hail Satan? Other tracks like the title track, Black Sabbath, ring in the day of the apocalypse, while the wizard alludes to a drug dealer that makes people feel good with his endless amount of drugs, brightening up their days and keeping their demons at bay. Wicked World is a unique track in that, despite the amount of satanic and demonic themes in the rest of the album, this track talks about politics and how the world is a bleak place. That's actually a theme that has been carried over from mid-60s rock, and has now also become synonymous with the heavy metal genre. At least 2 tracks in here are actually suites, and they all feel different from each other, and that's another cool thing about this album. Even in single tracks, the beat and main riffs and melodies change, but never lose that feeling of dark, brutal heaviness. Some tracks are lengthy from highly distorted guitar solos from Tony Iommi, and this is mainly shown in near the middle of The Wizard, which blends his guitar soloing with some harmonica soloing from Ozzy himself. He also shows his guitar chops in The Warning, which is actually mostly instrumental anyways. Basically, albeit it's very short, is another instrumental track with the only person playing is Geezer Butler, using a wah-wah effect on his bass, giving it a very funky edge. Overall, this album is highly atmospheric, keeping that common theme of living evil coming to get you. The first verse of Black Sabbath is even based off an actual experience that Geezer Butler had with him seeing a large black figure appear at the foot of his bed one night. It only drives the theme of the occult home even more. The careful transitions in each sweet track, it all makes it feel like one big song, but each part has its own separate and unique feel. The way Tony Iommi plays around with the blues scales and his solos, lets the listener know that even though this is a new generation in heavy music, you'll always know where the roots are based. All Bill Ward strumming on this LP are ace, I feel. It's kind of unfortunate that at first this album was so looked down upon, but thankfully people began to realize and understand what Black Sabbath, both the band and this album, were going for. And they would later, influence generations of heavy metal bands. This album was pretty much the standout precursor to everything metal. Some may argue that psychedelic bands from the mid-60s contained the earliest influence in heavy metal, but Black Sabbath was really the first band to contain themes and lyrical content that would, later be synonymous with the genre. And that's why this album, as well as the band, is so legendary. Anyways, thank you for joining me on this another album review. I look forward to more of these soon. And I just recently actually hit 3,000 views total, so I'll probably be doing another special something to say thank you to all of you, and I do want to say thank you to all of you again. If you want an album or a song to be reviewed that you like or may recommend, just leave a comment down below and I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. But for like the third time, thank you for watching, and so long.